The Arctic power race. Who will control the top of the world? Imagine a region so remote, so cold, and so unforgiving that for centuries, humanity barely paid attention to it. Now imagine that same region becoming one of the most important geopolitical battlegrounds on Earth. A place where Russia, China, and the United States are competing for power, for resources, for military advantage, and for the future of global trade. Welcome to the Arctic, the frozen frontier that could reshape the balance of global power in the 21st century. And the race has already begun. Welcome to Geopol, why the Arctic matters. For most of modern history, the Arctic was considered inaccessible. Covered by thick ice and extreme weather, it offered little economic value. But today, climate change is transforming the region. Arctic ice is melting faster than ever before. As the ice retreats, something extraordinary is being revealed beneath the surface. Massive reserves of oil, natural gas, rare earth minerals, and entirely new shipping routes. According to estimates, the Arctic may contain nearly 13% of the world's undiscovered oil and around 30% of its undiscovered natural gas. Suddenly, one of the most isolated places on Earth has become one of the most valuable, the new global trade routes. The Arctic is not only about resources, it is also about geography. Today, most global trade travels through routes such as the Suez Canal and the Strait of Malacca, but melting Arctic ice is creating new maritime pathways. Ships traveling between Asia and Europe could potentially reduce travel times by thousands of kilometers. That means lower costs, faster deliveries, and enormous economic advantages. Countries that gain influence over these routes could gain significant leverage over global trade. The Arctic is becoming a new strategic highway. Russia's Arctic ambitions. No country has moved more aggressively in the Arctic than Russia. Russia possesses the longest Arctic coastline in the world. Over the last decade, Moscow has invested heavily in Arctic infrastructure. Military bases have been expanded. Airfields have been modernized. Icebreaker fleets have grown. And advanced missile systems have been deployed. For Russia, the Arctic is not simply an economic opportunity. It is a core national security priority. The Kremlin views the region as essential to its future, economic growth and military strategy. As competition increases, Russia intends to remain the dominant Arctic power. America's response. The United States is also paying close attention. Washington recognizes that Arctic competition is accelerating. American military planners increasingly view the region as a strategic theater. The U.S. has strengthened cooperation with Arctic allies, including Canada and Norway. Investments in Arctic surveillance, naval operations, and infrastructure are expanding. American officials worry that if rival powers gain too much influence in the Arctic, global power dynamics could shift significantly. The Arctic is no longer a distant concern. It is becoming a strategic priority. China's surprising interest. At first glance, China appears far removed from the Arctic. But Beijing sees things differently. China describes itself as a near-Arctic state. Its goal is clear: access new shipping routes, secure future energy supplies, expand technological influence, and strengthen its position in global trade. China has invested in Arctic research stations, shipping projects, and infrastructure partnerships. Many analysts believe Beijing views the Arctic as a critical component of its long-term global Strategy. The Arctic may be frozen, but China's ambitions are not. The resource war. The real battle may ultimately be about resources. Oil, natural gas, rare earth minerals. These resources are essential for modern economies. They power industries, support military capabilities, and drive technological innovation. As global demand increases, control over Arctic resources becomes increasingly valuable. Countries understand that whoever secures these resources could gain major economic and strategic advantages for decades. The competition is intensifying. The military dimension. As strategic importance grows, military activity is also increasing. Submarines patrol beneath the Arctic ice. Fighter aircraft conduct exercises overhead. Military installations continue expanding. Each major power insists its actions are defensive, but every new deployment creates additional tension. The Arctic is becoming increasingly militarized, and history shows that when strategic competition and military expansion occur simultaneously, risks rise. The biggest danger, the greatest threat, may not be deliberate conflict. It may be miscalculation. A military aircraft flying too close. A naval incident in contested waters. A misunderstanding during a tense operation. History has repeatedly demonstrated that major crises can begin with small mistakes. As more nations operate in the Arctic, the possibility of unintended escalation increases. This is what concerns many security experts. The future of the Arctic. The Arctic is changing rapidly. New technologies, new trade routes, new opportunities, and new rivalries. The region is no longer a frozen wilderness at the edge of the world. It is becoming one of the most important geopolitical arenas of the century. The decisions made there today may influence global trade, energy security, military strategy, and international relations for generations. The Arctic may appear distant, but its future affects everyone. The resources beneath its ice, the shipping routes crossing its waters, and the competition unfolding between the world's most powerful nations could shape the future balance of global power. Russia is preparing. China is investing. America is responding. The race is accelerating. And the world is watching. Because the next great geopolitical competition may not happen in the Pacific or the Middle East, but at the very top of the world. If you enjoyed this analysis, subscribe to Geopol AI for more insights into geopolitics, military strategy, global security, and the forces shaping tomorrow's world.